There's a moment in Persona 3 that hits different. When you find out the world will end. Not if. When. There's a date on the calendar. There's a name for the thing that's coming. And there's nothing you can do to stop death itself. All you can decide is how you are going to live until that day comes. Persona 3 is not just about fighting shadows and having personas. Beyond it, deeper, underneath the surface, it's a story about acceptance, death, being grateful, living life to the fullest because it's limited. Quick spoiler warning. If you haven't played Persona 3, just click off. I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna spoil this whole thing. Y'all sit tight and enjoy the message. The first thing that Persona 3 tells you about its world is that something is wrong. At midnight, time breaks. The sky turns sickly green. People turn into coffins. And the ones who don't, they either have the potential to awaken their personas, or they succumb to their shadows. When the shadows take over, their bodies are still alive, their souls not so much. They stop caring about anything. It's called apathy syndrome. It's not some dramatic apocalypse like a meteor hitting the earth. It's a quieter kind of death. A slow, collected decision to stop trying. That's the first kind of death the game shows you. Not the moment your heart stops, but the moment your will stops. Then there's the protagonist, Makoto. He barely talks. He's calm in most situations that would make anybody else panic. He moves through this cursed world like he's already seen it. At first glance, he looks empty, but that's the point. Persona 3 uses him like a mirror. He's a vessel that holds everyone else's fear, grief, and hope. You as a player fill that silence with who you spend time with, who you help, who you listen to, and who you are there for when their life falls apart. That's what the social links are for. On the surface, they're just side stories. Mechanically, they help you unlock new personas. But underneath, every social link is an answer to one same question. How does a person trying to live knowing that life doesn't last forever? Some are running from life. President Tanaka, hiding behind money and status, flexing success, because he is terrified of what he would feel if he stopped hustling. Mutatsu, the drunk monk at the club, pretending he's above everything while he drinks to bury his regrets. Kazushi, the athlete pushing through a wrecked knee, risking his future because he's more scared of losing his identity than losing his leg. Some are trapped in the past. Bunuchiki and Mutsuko, the elderly couple who keep circling back to their dead son, and that paramission tree, like they are stuck in the moment they lost him. Shinjiro, who lives like a walking apology, convinced one mistake is his entire identity, and he doesn't deserve anything beyond it. Some are staring straight at death. Akinari, the boy dying at his shrine, who knows his time is almost up, isn't asking how do I live longer, but did my short, painful life mean anything at all? And some are just everyday loneliness. Maiko, the little girl caught in her parents' divorce, blaming herself and just wanting her family back. I can go on to more social links, but you get the gist. Not one of these people is fighting Nyx. They are not in Tartarus. They are just living with a quiet pain. And what do? You don't fix their lives with magic. You don't give them some kind of big anime speech that solves everything. You just show up, listen, tell them the truth when they need to hear it, and stay with them while they work through it. Persona 3 is saying something powerful here. You can't control how long anyone has. You can't erase their past or their pain, but you can choose to be present with them in the little time they do have. And that alone can change their whole story. Sometimes living fully is not some giant destiny moment. It's about a random afternoon conversation with someone who feels invisible and making them feel seen. At first, Seas treats the Dark Hour like a secret power. They get cool personas, they fight monsters, they're special. It feels like a supernatural club. Only a few chosen people can enter. But little by little, the truth drips in. The Dark Hour isn't a cool bonus level. It's a symptom. It's the world's spiritual sickness. All the fear, despair, and hopelessness humans have tried to avoid manifesting as shadows. And behind that sickness is Nyx, the embodiment of death itself. You can't kill Nyx. You can't defeat death as an idea. The game makes that very clear. Death is not a final boss. Death is a fact. So what is the real enemy? The enemy is running away from reality, pretending you will live forever, or completely giving up because nothing matters anyways. The shadows aren't random monsters. They are what happens when human rejects these parts of life that scare them. Then comes Ryoji. He starts off as a friendly, flirty transfer student. He's light, funny, easy to be around. And then winter hits. He tells you the truth. He's the appraiser of Nyx. He's the one whose existence will call death down to the world. He can't stop it. He gives you two choices. End him right now. Forget everything. Forget the dark hour. Forget seas, the battles, the fear. Live your last moments peacefully in ignorance. Then the world ends. And you will never even know. Let him live. Remember everything. Carry this unbearable knowledge. Fight a battle that might be hopeless. Live every day knowing exactly what's coming. This is a Persona 3 moment. The question isn't, can you stop death? It's, now you know that you're going to die. How do you want to live? This is where acceptance shows up in its rawest form. Acceptance isn't, I'm okay with it, I don't care. Acceptance is, I understand this will happen. I'm scared, I still choose to face it. That is the moment where the game turns from a cool RPG into a mirror of real life. We might not have a literal date stamped on our calendar, but we're all living in that same choice every day. Deny reality and coast through life numb. Accept reality and live life on purpose. The Evoker. Killing who you were to awaken who you are. That's the Evoker. On paper, it's a device that lets you summon your persona. But the name already tells you what it is. Evoker comes from the word evoke. To evoke means to call forth or to bring something out, etymology-wise. It goes back to Latin. Ex equals out. Vocare, to call out, to voice. So to evoke literally means to call out. You're not summoning some random monster. You're calling out your other self. And then there's the shape. It could have been anything else, but they chose a gun. You pointed at your own head, pull the trigger, and instead of dying, your persona explodes out of you. The first time you see it, it feels wrong. It looks like these characters are killing themselves. But symbolically, they kind of are. Every evoker shot is like saying, I'm willing to kill my fear. I'm willing to kill my numbness. I'm willing to kill the version of me that would rather stay asleep. To awaken that part of you that actually wants to live. It's scary, it's violent, and it's to that point. Facing death, even just the idea of it is uncomfortable. Persona 3 turns that discomfort into a mechanic. You don't get your power until you're willing to pull the trigger on who you were. The evoker becomes a little ritual of acceptance. You accept that you're fragile. You accept that you're scared. And you still choose to act. In a game about death and the end of the world, the evoker is a perfect symbol. You kill the part of yourself that wants to hide, so the part of you who truly wants to live can finally take a step forward. If Ryoji is the messenger of what's really coming, then Takaya is what happens when somebody falls in love with the idea of death. From the first time you see him, he doesn't look like a normal antagonist. Long hair, bare chest, calm eyes, almost saint-like posture. He moves and talks like some wandering prophet. His design has the subtle Messiah energy. Calm, controlled voice, outstretched arms, talking about destiny, salvation, inevitability. Surrounded by followers who believe only he understands the truth. But instead of preaching life, Takaya preaches surrender. He looks at the same reality he sees is facing, that death is inevitable, and he takes it to the darkest conclusion. If we're all going to die anyway, why fight it? Why not embrace the fall and call it freedom? He manipulates the lost, people damaged by apathy syndrome. He treats them like the proof that his worldview was right. Humans are weak, life is meaningless, so letting the world end is almost an act of mercy. Complete opposite of what Makoto stands for. Makoto gives his life so others can live. Takaya takes lives because he decides living isn't worth the pain, and that's why he's important to the story. But Persona 3 isn't about accepting death. It's about how you respond once you accept it. Team C's accepts death and chooses to live fully anyway, even if it hurts. Takaya accepts death and chooses to worship it, letting it erase everything. He's like a dark mirror held up to the player. When you realize life is temporary, do you use that as an excuse to stop caring, or a reason to care more? Once the choice is made, something changes. The characters don't really care about conquering Tartarus anymore. They care more about appreciating the days they have left. That's the next biggest lesson of Persona 3. When you accept that time is limited, the smallest moments become precious. Going to class, eating with friends, listening to a friend vent about something small. In a normal game, that's filler. In Persona 3, it's the point. The game is quietly telling you, this is what you're fighting for, not some huge reward. Just the ability to keep living these simple, beautiful, everyday moments. That's gratitude. Not just the cheesy be grateful quote on social media, but the kind where you're sitting on a random day, nothing special is happening, and it hits you. I'm alive right now. These people are here. This second exists, and that's enough. The final battle against Nyx isn't really about beating death. It's about showing what your heart decided after everything you've seen. You climb torches one more time. You fight through each arcana, and you stand in front of something you know you can't truly destroy. And for a moment, it looks hopeless. Nyx is the weight you can't move. The party is getting wiped. HP is getting low. The music shifts. It feels like the game is telling you, yeah, this is death. You can't win. And then something that ties the whole game together. Your social links come back, one by one. The people you spend your limited days with. The ones running from life, trapped in the past, staring at death, or just lonely. Their voices starting to cut through the darkness. You see the arcana names flash. You hear them calling out to you, not some cheesy friendship is magic way, but in a quiet, honest way, like, you were there for me. I'm here with you now. All the bonds you made, all the little moments you had, they meant something. That's what we live for. Mechanically, your bonds turn into power against Nyx. Symbolically, Persona 3 is saying, you never faced death alone. Every time you chose to show up in someone else's life, you were building something bigger than yourself. Those links evolve into the universe arcana. The idea that all separate lives, all separate pains, all separate stories are actually connected. That's what lets the protagonist stand in one more time when he has no reason left to. After that, he does something wild. He makes a contract, offers his own life to hold Nyx back, and give humanity one more time. He doesn't become immortal. He doesn't get some type of God power up like live forever. He gives himself so other people keep living their ordinary, messy, beautiful lives. Fast forward to graduation day. Everyone's on the rooftop looking for him, talking about future, the plans they made. They don't realize that as they're dreaming about tomorrow, he's slowly but surely dying in Aigis' arms. That scene hurts, but it's also strangely peaceful. He doesn't die in a dramatic explosion. He dies on a rooftop in sunlight, surrounded by the friends he fought for, powered by all the bonds he chose to build, knowing what he did, what he could with the time he had. Persona's 3 message lands softly but firmly. You don't get to pick whether you die, but you do get to pick what you stand for while you're here. You do get to choose what you show up for. You do get to choose whether you sleepwalk through life or live it fully, knowing it ends. That's acceptance, not giving up, not pretending, just facing it and loving life anyway. What does Persona want us to take from this? From my understanding, it says, death is real. It's not meant to scare you, it's meant to wake you up. Time is limited. That's not a curse. That's what gives your choices weight. You won't always get closure. Some people leave. Some stories don't wrap up neatly. Love it anyway. You can't carry everything alone. You need your seers. You need your people. You're not meant to do it solo. Living life to the fullest isn't about nonstop hustle. It's about being present in ordinary moments, grateful that you have them at all. In a weird way, Persona 3 is like a long playable memento mori, a reminder that you will die, not to depress you, but to free you from wasting time you have here. We don't have a Nyx countdown clock. We don't have Ryoji giving us a date. We don't have an X amount of days until the fall. All we really have is the fact that our time is limited and a chance to decide how we use it today. If Persona 3 leaves us with anything, it's that. Accept that life ends. Be grateful it exists at all. And because it ends, live it fully. Say what you need to say. Start the thing you keep delaying. Appreciate the people who are here with you right now. Let yourself enjoy the small, dumb, peaceful moments. Not because you're running out of time in a panicky way, because it's limited time. It's what makes all of this real. If you made it this far, thank you for spending some of your limited time with me. I appreciate y'all watching the video, man. Thank y'all for real. Don't forget to like and sub if you fuck with it. When we drop more videos like this, y'all. Peace out.